Hello, my name is Diana. The aim of this video is to show you how to create your first crosstab table using data tile. During this video, we'll be creating a crosstab table using a demonstration beverages database where we'll show age categories against beverage brands. But first we need to load the demonstration database. There's a couple of places in data tile where the databases are stored. If you have a database that you've uploaded yourself, that would appear under My Space at the top left here, but there are no databases in there. If you're working with data uploaded by other users and shared with you, then that would appear under Shared with Me, and that's what we're going to use this afternoon. So let's double click on Demo to open the folder, and then double click on Beverages BHT, and then the green icon at the beginning shows you that it's a database. So we're going to open up this top one, Beverages BHT version 4, and the main data tile window opens up. On the left hand side you've got a pane where it shows all the different variables that are in the database, and then on the right hand side you've got a grid and calculate buttons and a couple of toolbars which we'll be looking at shortly. So we need to put the stuff into our grid. So to start with, we're going to put age categories into our columns. So we're going to click and drag and put the age categories, and you just literally drop it onto the columns, and all the columns will be populated with the various age bands there. And we're going to put the top of mind brands into our rows. So let's click on top of mind and drop it onto our rows, and that puts all of those in. Let's calculate and get the figures. So this is showing vertical percentage as the default layout. If you want to have other information showing on the screen, other metrics, you can choose those from this metrics bar. So if we wanted to put horizontal percentage, if you click on there, it will automatically add the columns. You then need to calculate to just get the numbers to come up. Let's turn it off again though, so just click on it, recalculate. Now the totals are already showing on this particular grid here, but if they're not, in this bar, this is your table settings bar. You've got totals here, and you can choose to turn the columns on and off just by clicking on columns and rows. Okay, now just to give you an idea of what the data is saying, so in this box here where it says 25, this is saying that 25% of what's in the vertical, which is the 16 to 20s, chose Fresh Story as their top of mind brand. Okay. You may wish to sort the data in your grid. I'm going to turn the totals off for the moment, so I'll just turn both of those off and then recalculate. If you wanted to sort by the 16 to 20-year-olds, for example, if you click on the column heading where it says vertical percentage, as soon as you do that, you get a down arrow which shows you that the data has been sorted in descending order. If you would prefer that in ascending order, you just click again. And that you see an up arrow. And then if you don't want any sorting at all, if you click again, the sorting goes off. Let's change it back though to descending. So click again, and that puts the arrow to show us descending. So we've got other at the top. Now we're going to have a look at the top 5 brands in a minute, but what I wanted to do is show you how you can remove some items that you don't want from your grid. So if I decide I don't want to have other showing, if on this box at the top here you've got 3 X's which allow you to delete selected items. So the one closest to your rows allows you to delete a selected row. So I'm going to click on Other and then go to the little X here, and that will delete that row. And I don't want my 50 pluses in here, so I'm going to click on 50 plus and then go to the X closest to the columns, and that will allow me to delete the column I've selected. You could, if you wished, delete all of the columns and the rows together by using the one in the corner, or just highlighting various different ones and then clicking on that. The other items in this box, these arrows allow you to switch between columns and rows. So if I show you, that just swaps over your brands so they appear in the columns, and your age bands that now appear in your rows. Let's switch back, recalculate. Now we've got the data sorted in descending order by the 16 to 20s. If we want to show just the top 5 items, in this bar here where you had your totals, you've got an item called top. If I click on there, I can choose to see the top 4 or 5 items or whatever number you choose. As soon as you do that, you need to calculate, and then it will reduce the number down to just 5 brands. And at the moment you've just got the brand names there. It doesn't signify to you that you're using the top of mind brands. So if you want to if you go to these 3 dots here, you can click on there and choose show context, and that adds top of mind to each of the brands. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is to rename our tab. So at the moment it always creates new tab as the default name, but you might want to give it a more sensible name, and on this one we're going to call it Age versus Brands. If I can type. There we go. Click on save, and that just puts the name up at the top there. Okay, now you can download your table into another application such as PowerPoint, Excel, or as a PDF. And to do that, you click on the share button on the right hand side here. If you click on there, the menu comes up and you've got here download as PowerPoint, PDF or Excel. Let's choose PowerPoint. And you get your download bar come up in the bottom left. I'm going to choose to open once it's done. And it opens PowerPoint and opens up the table. And if you just go to enable editing, you could do all normal PowerPoint things with your table. Let's close PowerPoint. The other thing you can do is you can export your table to a dashboard. A dashboard is just a different way of visualizing the data once you've made it into charts, or is your table as well. To do that, you click on the share button again and you choose export to dashboard. Now you can either export it to the ones that appear on the list, so I've got one there, or you can create a new one, but I'm going to create a new one in this instance. So you just click on create a new dashboard. Let's give it a name. Let's just call it Diana Test, and click on export, and then that will now appear in the Diana Test database which has been created. So we've now finished creating our first table, and we've downloaded it to PowerPoint and exported it to dashboard. So thank you very much for listening.